The flickering red emergency lights cast distorted shadows across Captain Akar's battle-scarred face. Sweat beaded on his brow, a stark contrast to his ice-blue, cybernetic eye. Hull breach on Sector C blared the comm unit in his ear. Repulsor shields at 27%. Akar slammed his fist on the command console, a tremor coursing through the crippled warship, the Indomitable. Across the bridge, Lieutenant Kai, a young, fiery Terran with a mop of black hair, gritted his teeth. "They're relentless, sir. The Zarkon are throwing everything they have at us." The Zarkon, a race of hulking, reptilian bipeds, had been humanity's scourge for generations. Their relentless expansion across the Andromeda galaxy had finally brought them into conflict with the Terran Federation. Now, on the desolate asteroid belt of Xylos, the final stand was being made. "Tell Harris to reroute all non-essential power to the shields," Akar barked. His voice was a gravelly rasp, worn from years of command. "We need to hold until reinforcements arrive." Kai's face twisted into a grimace. "Reinforcements, sir? They're not due for another solar cycle." Akar's cybernetic eye flickered ominously. "Then we hold for a solar cycle, Lieutenant. We've faced worse. Remember Proxima B." Kai swallowed hard. Proxima B, a brutal trench warfare battle that had claimed half of Akar's crew, flickered through his mind. He straightened his shoulders. "We'll hold, sir." The bridge lurched violently as another Zarkon cruiser slammed into their side. Sparks danced across the console, throwing the crew into momentary darkness. Alarms blared, a cacophony of klaxons and flashing red lights. Shields at 15%. The voice of the comms officer crackled. "They're boarding, Captain." Akar grabbed his plasma rifle, a relic from Earth's early spacefaring days. It felt heavy in his hand, a symbol of a bygone era. "All hands to battle stations. We fight to the last man." The bridge doors hissed open and a squad of Terra Marines, clad in reinforced exoskeletons, flooded in. Their faces were grim under their visors, but their eyes burned with defiance. Akar led the charge out of the bridge, the metallic tone of blood and ozone filling the air. The corridors were a battlefield of screaming men and roaring Zarkon. Beams of plasma fire crisscrossed the hallway, leaving smoldering craters in the metal walls. Akar fought with the ferocity of a cornered beast. Decades of combat experience flowed through him, each shot precise and deadly. Yet, for every Zarkon he brought down, two seemed to take his place. The battle was a tide of violence threatening to drown them all. Suddenly, a deafening roar echoed down the corridor. A monstrous Zarkon warrior, twice the size of a man and bristling with weaponry, charged towards them. Akar emptied his plasma rifle, but the shots seemed to bounce harmlessly off its thick armor. Just as the creature swung its massive claw at Kai, a guttural roar ripped through the air. Captain Ramirez, a gruff, heavily augmented veteran, slammed his cybernetic shoulder into the Zarkon, sending it staggering back. Ramirez, his cybernetic arm crackling with power, unleashed a blast of pure energy, vaporizing the creature in an instant. Ramirez turned to Akar, his face a mask of grim determination. "Thought you could handle yourself, old-timer?" Akar chuckled, a dry rasping sound. "Getting old, Ramirez. Need a backup these days." The two veterans fought side by side, their experience holding back the tide of Zarkon. Time blurred into a chaotic mess of blinding light, deafening explosions, and the metallic stench of death. Suddenly, the alarms stopped wailing. An eerie silence descended. Akar cautiously crept through the smoke-filled corridor, his heart hammering in his chest. The sight that greeted him was surreal. Countless Zarkon bodies littered the hallway, their grotesque forms still and lifeless. In the distance, a colossal Vorgon battleship, a sight rarely seen in these parts of the galaxy, hovered menacingly. The Vorgon, an enigmatic race rumored to possess technology far surpassing both humans and Zarkon, had intervened. Relief washed over Akar, a wave of exhaustion following closely behind. Ramirez, leaning heavily against a bulkhead, whistled low. Who knew those grumpy Vorgon would show up? Akar chuckled, a weary, genuine laugh this time. "Looks like we'll live to fight another day, Ramirez." He looked across the carnage.